we are seeing a lot of people come out as expected, as predicted. I don't know why this is so predictable, but everybody else saw it except Access Media and everybody else when it comes to the Birds of Prey. The narrative is being painted that the reason why the movie is underperforming has everything to do with the audience and nothing to do with the creation or the movie itself. You're seeing people that are part of the comic book community, and I've seen this. And when I say part of the comic book community, I use that loosely because ever since Donald Trump was elected in 2016, or, not really even when he was elected, it was more so when he was running. Ever since he was running, it was more so what it was. A lot of people within the comic book community, including writers, historic writers, people that have been around for a while, they just went off the deep end. And this is why if there is a way to blame Trump, if anything, on the quality of comic books, there it is because everybody went crazy as soon as he won, and everybody felt like they had to start wearing like politics on their chest, man. And one of the guys that we're talking about, I've done videos about before, and he was the one coming to the defense of Jane Foster's store when people such as myself were coming out and saying how goofy it was. He was like, yeah, we're taking it to them. We're taking it to them. And I'm glad that all of you guys are mad. That same guy, and he is credited, actually, he gets a special thanks. I looked it up on The Birds of Prey and What We're Shipping For Him. He's been part of creation of a lot of different characters over the years. He's wrote Vixen of all people, which is funny because I just did a video talking about her. And he's co-created a lot of different characters. Jerry Conway, I've talked about him before. So word getting out that it's underperforming. Here's a thread. I'm so disappointed by Birds of Prey box office and what it says about the male audience for superhero films. Here's my controversial take. Don't hate me. The movie didn't pull teenage boys because Margot Robbie didn't want Harley Quinn to be sexualized as she was in Suicide Squad. Okay, so premise, right? Here we go. Premise. Audience. It is your fault. It's your fault. Specifically, male audience. It is your fault that the movie didn't do as... Look, man, I saw it coming. I absolutely saw it coming. Everybody's coming out to blame this movie, or not the movie. That's what they won't blame. They'll blame everybody else but the movie. They're blaming the audience, man. The consumer. The consumer rejected it, including the ones that they were signaling to throughout the marketing scheme. They rejected it. They said, we don't want any of this. We don't want anything to do with this. They rejected it. The people that you were signaling to even rejected it. The people that you insulted on the marketing scheme, or more so you were purposely going out of your way to suggest that it really wasn't for them. And it's not even about the fact that it's female-centric. That has nothing to do with it. Or Harley Quinn's front. That has nothing to do with it. Promoted it as a girl power film, feminist film. You got guys on the campaign trail saying the same thing, including Ewan McGregor. Ewan. Mr. Ewan was... Ewan, man, he was on, you know who I'm talking about, Ewan McGregor. He's on the campaign trail confirming. For those that don't know, he played Black Mask in the movie. Okay, so you have said it's not necessarily for you guys. It won't appeal to you guys. So a lot of folks that ain't trying to be lectured said, you know what, y'all got it. Y'all got it. So they didn't see it. So he's blaming didn't pull teenage boys. And by the way, it's rated R film, so it wouldn't have mattered unless you're including like maybe people 17, 18, 19, three ages maybe. But everybody below that really can't even go see it unless they with an adult. You know what I'm saying? Says it's horribly shallow, but there we are. I'll bet much of Harley's appeal in young men in the Suicide Squad was the hypersexualization of her body in the midriff shirt, which she still like wears like short shorts and stuff in the movie. So I don't know where they're going with that. Emphasize her buttocks and legs, yada yada. So basically, she had sex appeal. She doesn't have as much, which I don't even agree with that. But they're saying that he's saying that she was over sexualized. It's not as sexualized as what he's claiming. So it didn't do as well. That is like that. Think about that logic. That doesn't even make any sense. Because you'd at least have if that was the case, right? You'd at least have a successful box office. If you're claiming that the movie that she was in before, in the same universe, you'd at least have a successful initial box office, right? A really successful. If that was the case, because maybe then they would still go see it, and then they had to find out that was the case. So at least you start off strong if that was the claim. But that didn't make sense. The result was a complete desexualization of Harley in Birds. So much so that we see her baggy overalls and baggy pajamas throughout. Her fellow birds are also desexualized and abstract and politically. This is good. First, that's a lie because that's a lie. That's not even true because the others know. Like for sure with Huntress, yes. Huntress, yes. Black Canary, not so much because she's wearing like this like freaking push-up bra the entire deal, right? And you can see when she's running and so that's not even true. That's not even true. But yes, for Huntress, absolutely. But we've never even seen Huntress, so it wouldn't be a desexualized, right? It wouldn't be. There's nothing to D from. And it's funny because she has some bulletproof like I don't know corset. What's her name? Renee Montoya. That she got from Harley at the end of the movie, and Harley literally rips it open because she got shot, right? And Harley literally rips it open and says, "See, sexy." She literally says that, right? So she didn't have a problem saying that, but she was like, "Yeah, see, sexy and protective or something like that." But superhero movies unfortunately depend for a large part of their audience on young men. Yes, and that bingo is what comic books really, and I wouldn't say it's just young men, it's just men. Comic books, the main core community are men. That's just what it is. You could just be mad at that all you want. That's not to say there aren't women that are into comics or anything like that. It's just saying, you go to the comic book shop, any comic book shop, the vast majority of the people that are out there actually buying those things are men. Now, they can pretend like that's not the case, but that's just the reality of the situation. But he says, or a truly mind-bending set of special effects, and without special powers, or a truly mind-bending set of special effects that would draw young men to see Birds of Prey, if there's no TNA, it's crash, horrible, shallow. I just don't. Anyway, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman were hits because they provided superhero powers and big effects. Not even true. The Wonder Woman thing was a hit because it was a solid movie, right? And everybody got to talking about it. It was intriguing. It's the female superhero. Now, Wonder Woman had no problem having her sex appeal, right? She didn't have that problem at all. She went back and forth in terms of, even the one that's coming up where she's having her new suit where it seems like she's pretty much entirely covered. People are still going to go see that movie, so she doesn't have that issue. Captain Marvel, the only reason that's a hit is because we've already talked about it, did a whole 30-minute video talking about the unique shoehorn of Captain Marvel. Long story short, it's sandwiched between the biggest cliffhanger and the most, epic end game, literal end game, and the closing of the phase, and they promoted it as if you have to see this film in order, you got to know who this character is. Now, they didn't do that with Ant-Man, who also had a movie in between that time, but they did that specifically with Captain Marvel. So it's like, you got to see this in order to see what happens here. Come and find out that was just false anyway, because she shows up at the beginning of the movie and at the end. That's it. I know I'm repeating myself for a lot of you guys, but I got to cover my bases because there's going to be some loser in the comment that is going to say something of that nature, and I have to address those arguments as they are. So, Jerry Conway, you're operating from a completely nonsensical position, right? Either way, because first of all, I don't know why you're comparing these two, but one is successful because it's a good movie. The other is successful because of the universe that was surrounding it. One had an uphill battle. Wonder Woman had an uphill battle the entire time. It just happened to be a good movie, and a lot of men are excited for the upcoming film. Were hits because they provided superhero powers, big special effects, and beautiful women who looked good in tight-fitting outfits. To her credit, Margot Robbie wanted to challenge the need for any of this. Captain Marvel did not have Captain Marvel in tight-fitting outfits. What are you talking about? She doesn't even, the actress doesn't even have a frame that even allows her to really, all right, that kind of sounds bad. And that's not a disrespect to Brie Larson. Like, I dog it, man. And I'm not gonna cut that out the video. All I'm saying is that she's not wearing any tight-fitting outfit in the whole entire movie. Not that I can remember. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is fake history or revisionist history. Unfortunately, that she may have proved is that the male audience for superhero movies isn't as mature as we'd hope. The female audience isn't large enough to compensate. Well, the latter is absolutely true, but that has the former isn't. The former, look, man. Now, it's not to say that there aren't men that are interested in seeing attractive women. Like, of course there are. What I'm saying is you don't have to rely on sex appeal to attract men in terms of wanting to see your film. You see what I'm saying? That's all. It's always weird, though, how these other guys, it can be all swolled up, cut up, in good shape and all of that, and they can show that off all the other movie films, go around talking about Captain America's butt, right? That's all fine and dandy, but, with women, it's just sexualized. Look, man, this is the reality of the situation. These guys out of touch. A lot of these guys out of touch because Access Media tried to talk this into success. They tried to speak it into existence. They've done that before. They try to speak it into existence, and you're trying to appeal, and this is why I don't understand why they go this route when it comes to comic book films specifically, because that audience is, Twitter, slay, Instagram, cosplay, that's not really a big community of people. There is like when you talk about comic book movies, usually they're like action films of that nature. A lot of men want to see them. A lot of women want to see them too. And in order for you to have the greatest success, yes, you have to appeal to both of them in some way, shape, or form. But people are blaming this or underperforming because, again, I can't call it a flop because, and if I have, I've misspoke because I don't know what the projection was. I just know it's underperforming. And you can see that because you got people like, oh, man, this didn't do as well. Dude, anybody with a brain saw that it wasn't going to do that well. And it had nothing to do with the sexualized or desexualized. It had nothing to do with it and everything to do with the fact that you try to appeal to a group of normies that not only do they not buy comics, but they're not going to outpace the ones that you're trying to push away. You can't actively push away an entire demographic of people and then get mad because you don't see success. That's idiotic. This is why just because these guys have recognition in terms of being a writer or a producer does not mean that they're in the know. I'm not saying that they are talentless, hacks or anything like that. Some of them might be. But I'm just saying, just because they're in that position does not mean that they know what they're doing. And things change, right? What worked maybe 4 years from now doesn't work. And people change in terms of the content, i.e. what happened with Jerry Conway. Jerry Conway, didn't he co-create The Punisher? Right. He co-created The Punisher, and now he's a deranged SJW basically on Twitter. And I'm using that. I don't use that term for everybody. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is. He embodies what you think is a SJW male feminist. Straight up. Self-hating male feminist. Look no further. The guy that created uber masculine Punisher is that. So it doesn't matter just because he created something. That don't matter. He's wrong. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how to analyze the current culture. He's completely out of touch. I could have been part of that project and I would have been like, dudes, This is not going to go well. I could have been a part of your marketing team, but I'm not saying give me a job. No. That's certainly not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are people that call this out and did it with good intent. You get those that are just going to be like, everything's bad. That's just kind of the nature of some of those guys. But comic book guys like myself who are invested and actually buy these comics and have read these comics and, like some of the characters that are involved, like Black Canary. I love Black Canary as a character, So, and I've even said about Robbie. Robbie's the best shit to me. She's the best part of the movie because she's a believable Harley Quinn. She's a believable Harley. Say what you will about her politics. From an actress standpoint, she is a believable Harley Quinn. I see her and I'm like, that's Harley Quinn. That can be Harley Quinn. That's a believable version of Harley Quinn. Whether she's the best or worse, whatever. But I think on net, she was a good fit. And you bait and switch too, because it wasn't even as on the nose as with the hyperfeminism, like you promoted it. But you can't what interest do people have to see your movie when you pushing away that same entire demographic? And then you gonna blame the demographic for not wanting to go see it. I couldn't even process that. Like what idiots do they have working over there at Warner Bros. Marketing, DC? What? Who's over there? Oh, guys like Jerry Conway who gets a special thanks. Special thanks to Jerry Conway. I believe he gets a special thank on Captain Marvel and Batwoman too. If you're paying attention to that guy, if you're going to that guy for advice, clearly he doesn't know what he's doing. Access media can't speak things into existence anymore. They don't have monopoly on information. You get big head folks like myself that can get on YouTube and just tell y'all. They don't have monopoly on the information no more. They don't. So they can't speak it into existence. They can't speak a success into existence like they maybe were able to do prior to, or maybe even like early on in the social media age. Now they just can't. It's just too much information out there, and it's too easy to get it out. I don't have to work for some critic organization or have access passes to be able to give you my opinion, and thousands of people can see it. You see what I'm saying? They don't have monopoly on information. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I do know what to tell you. You got to analyze the content that you're putting out and how you promote that content. That's your problem. There's a content problem in the comic books. There's a content problem in the movies that some of you guys are making because you're trying to take an angle that's trying to appeal to a demographic that won't even show up. So the people that you will appeal to, work it. Yes. Screw those males, man. Those guys, they didn't show up to see the movie. And the big extravagant comic book universe right now, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they didn't build their stranglehold on the game by trying to appeal to those types. And by those types, I mean the people that maybe have some social angle that they want to take and don't really read. And they certainly didn't do it by trying to push away male audience. They didn't do that. And they've laid even duds, but they've been able to get away with laying those because they set the foundation for a solid universe. Don't blame this movie's lack of success or underperformance on it being rated R. We just saw what happened to Joker. Don't blame it on the female thing or it being female centric. It just it just you unfortunately had you put your foot in your mouth. So you want to blame someone? Blame Ewan. Blame even Robbie. Blame all of them. All you had to do was take a neutral stance. Say, this is a movie. We're calling it The Birds of Prey. Why? I don't know. You didn't help yourself out by, doing some weird things, tokenizing Black Canary and all of that stuff, That didn't help you at all. Cassandra Cain, I don't know who that is because that ain't Cassandra Cain. That didn't help you either. None of that helped you. Right? You hurt yourself. You had to go out of your way to screw this up. And you did. Look at the people that are part of creating your content. DC, Warner Bros., Jerry Conway. And analyze that. You can have a female. I'm willing to bet bread that I can find some nerds at the comic shop that can write a script and a promotional campaign without they just won't have the studio funding on a female hero by way of DC, and they can make it interesting. And it can see some success. But you cannot let Instagram and Twitter fool you into thinking this is how, look, just because you post something, yes, and you got all these, SJW blue-haired chicks co-signing it, does not mean that that's going to see success. It doesn't. But you get what you deserve, homie. Stop blaming it on everybody else. You blame it on the audience. Stop doing that, man. Like, the reason why I'm saying stop, because I'm a fan of these comic books. I would love to see I was the one that suggested, I did a video, and you guys can watch that. Just literally Google it. In which I talked about how DC shouldn't even be trying to appeal or trying to follow in the footsteps of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the sense of making these kind of mindless popcorn flicks. They were on to something with go the rated R route. Make a mature universe, or don't be afraid to not make mature stuff. So I like the fact that I'm okay with it being rated R. I'm perfectly fine with it being rated R. That was the least of the problems. That was actually a positive thing, because now you don't have to have any restraints. You can still see success. Dude, a DC-based film in Joker just became the most profitable film of all time or something like that. Yo. There's no sexualization in that. There's no sexualization. And it was rated R. It made so much money. And it's not connected to any universe. What are you talking about? These people's arguments are so easily debunkable. Is that a word? It is today. Get a grip. Just get a grip. Get control, man. Get control. Look at the people that are your screenwriters. Look at your directors. Look at your people that are in charge of your marketing campaigns and fire them.